Crime isn't static. So does the methods of the criminal too. If law enforcement relies on yesterday's tools, we lose battles. That's why we will trace 10 innovations from different historical eras to see how they shape us and our criminal justice system. Let's go back in time to see how our technology looks like even before the Spaniards set foot on our islands.
Long before colonization, people may think we were primitive, but our ancestors had already mastered metallurgy. They forged portable bronze, swivel guns called lantacas.
It was not just metalworking, it was localized chemical alloying. The Lantaco was the cutting-edge tactical technology of its era, used by local barangays to protect maritime trade routes and enforce tribal laws against piracy.
So it forced early tribal leadership to establish rules on territorial defense and public order. But what about tracking arguments and solving disputes?
And that brings us to our second ancient innovation, the pre-colonial ink and the Baybayin script. Early Filipinos used natural plant-based inks to write agreements on bamboo slates.
And for us criminologists, that is the earliest ancestors of question document examination in the Philippines. Verifying a chip's unblotted ink signature on a trade pack was the pre-colonial way of preventing fraud.
Fascinating. Now, let's fast forward to the Spanish colonial era. The archipelago is vast and suddenly, the colonial government needs to manage hundreds of islands. I wonder how the technology solved that.
To cartography and boundary mapping, like the famous 1734 Murillo Gallardo map.
Presenter, think about the logical problems that was addressed. Without accurate maps, how do we define police jurisdiction? Once mathematical cartography took root, the Guardia Civil could formally establish patrol sectors and track the escape routes of outlaws or ladrones across provincial lines.
But wait, with the Philippines being governed all the way from Spain via Mexico, wasn't there a massive issue with fake decrees or forged land titles?
Definitely is an issue, which is why our fourth innovation emerged. Document counter forgery and royal seals. The introduction of localized watermarks and unique wax royal seals on real cedulas forced colonial magistrates to develop an eye for physical security details. It was the birth of anti-white collar crime tracking in the Philippines.
Alright, I'm getting a report from our team regarding the arrival of institutional and analytical advancements. Let's toss it over to the library.
We have to talk about the codification of the Código Penal, Spanish Penal Code, brought here to establish formalized written statutory law to the Philippines.
And how does a penal code relate to crime? Simple. Before the code, laws were unwritten, arbitrary whims of a local rule. Codification allowed the colonial state to establish standardized penal codes. For the first time, criminal law was codified, publicized, and equal for anyone who read it.
And don't forget the medical side. During the same transitional era, the development of early medical jurisprudence protocols arrived to change how investigations were handled.
Yes, yes, because determining the cause of the death relied heavily on the naked eye. Early Spanish medical treatises led colonial magistrates to employ trained medicos to systematically examine human remains for trauma, laying the foundation for legal medicine in the country.
Now, we hit the 19th century, the era of rapid urbanization and growing provincial rebellions in Cavite, Laguna, and Batangas. Communication had to become lightning fast.
Enter our seventh innovation, the electric telegraph lines cutting across Luzon.
This changed everything for law enforcement administration. Before the telegraph, a fugitive could commit a crime in Laguna and flee to an adjacent province before the news even arrived. With the telegraph, police could wire suspects' description ahead of time, turning isolated town patrols into coordinated regional checkpoints.
But tracking property and solving theft on the streets was still a massive issue. If a horse, carriage, or property was stolen, how did the police trace its origin?
You use these standardized serial number and branding registries. With the boom of iron manufacturing and livestock trade, the government mandated unique hot iron branding, the stamp serial number, giving the Guardia Civil a physical database to trace stolen goods and verify ownership.
That brings us to the world we live in today, the information age. No more branding registries, no more telegraph wires. Today, bytes, data streams, and automated physics rule the courtroom.
Our ninth innovation completely solved a modern cyber threat, digital forensics, and packet sniffing tools. Crime moved from a physical street to the internet, giving rise to cyber extortion, hacking, and online scams.
Now, the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group utilizes advanced software to trace IP addresses, extract deleted metadata from hard drives, and reconstruct digital footprints left behind by cybercriminals in a matter of minutes.
But the absolute gold standard of the modern Philippine forensic is our 10th innovation, automated forensic ballistics imaging technology.
Right, because for the longest time, firearms identification relied entirely on a specialist starting through a manual comparison microscopes for hours, trying to match tiny stretch marks on bullets.
Exactly. With modern digital ballistics imaging, the PNP forensic groups can scan fired bullets into a 3D digital database using highly precise algorithms to automatically cross-reference and match microscopic marks nationwide. making separate treating incidents instant.
Hmm. Looking back at this incredible journey from pre-colonial weapons to automated forensics, the connection between science, technology, and society is undeniable. So let's answer a final question as a team. How has this history of science and technology transformed our roles as future criminologists in promoting justice, public safety, and national security in the Philippines?
For me, it has shifted our entire law enforcement mindset from reactive to proactive. We aren't just chasing criminals after the fact anymore. We use digital forensics, data analytics, and modern intelligence systems to disrupt criminal networks before they hit our local community.
And it has brought unyielding scientific objectivity to our criminal justice system. Technology ensures that cases are built on empirical, undeniable object evidence rather than coercion or guesswork. This protects national security while deeply respecting the human rights of our citizens.
Beautifully said, but remember, fellow future criminologists, technology is only an instrument. Its true value depends entirely on the character and patriotism of the professional utilizing it. Science guides us on our path, technology sharpens our focus, but our unwavering commitment to the Filipino people is what truly safeguards our nation.